today what we're going to do is talk about Chapter 3, the actual Chapter 3. We're going to talk about social beliefs and judgments. And I know, we're all going to say, I'm not judgmental. Yeah, alright, folks. You're running around judging everybody all the time. You're making judgments about them. Why did she smile? Why did he not smile? Why was she generous? Why did why did he not hold the door for me? We're constantly making judgments. It's what we do. We're making judgments about who people are and why they behave the way that they do. Okay? So let us just understand a little bit about the way we understand our social world. I said it before, I'll say it again because boy, this is important. There is a truth out there, a reality, Helen is a good girl. But if I believe Helen's a bad girl, then that's how I'm going to react to Helen. The truth of the world is absolutely irrelevant. What matters to me, the truth to me, is my mind. My mind is my reality. There are a lot of different things that can affect that. Now, things like priming, for example. Priming is, in this social psych context, is things like the situation you're in. It's dark at night. Ooh, isn't it scary? And you're in a bad neighborhood, and somebody's coming at you, and the truth of the reality is the guy is walking home from church, and he's an angel of mercy or some crap like this. But the situation has primed you, and you grab your mace. Oh shit! What happened? Because you were primed by your situation. Okay, so we respond not to reality, but to what we perceive reality to be. Okay, we'll talk about some of this stuff and break it down here. Leave it alone. Blah blah blah. Belief perseverance. That is to say, first impressions really, really matter. Like, if you're a boy and you're going for a job interview and you wear an earring to your job interview, you're done. It isn't going to happen. It doesn't matter how great your resume it is. It doesn't matter how much you slam dunked that first impression. It's over. It takes, I don't know, some motivational speaker somewhere I'm sure said this. It takes 50 positive impressions to overtake one single bad first impression. And there's a truth to that. There's an absolute truth to that. We definitely come to believe the first thing we've seen, and we are very, very stubborn about changing from it. Like children, they eventually stop believing in Santa, but boy, it takes a long time. So this is sort of like why, if somebody's accused of a crime, they're in trouble. All right. I always felt bad for poor Michael Jackson. And when these accusations were out there, in the end, I think he was kind of a, but when the accusation was out there, he molested a little boy. It was over. Whether he did or did not was totally irrelevant because people had this idea implanted in their brain, and it ain't going away. Okay. Oh, this is good. How does memory work? This is not cognitive class, so I'm going to try to present this in social psych context as best I can, but it is cognitive material, so I'll just, I'll try to whatever it in, right? 85% of college students agree with this kind of a statement. Memory can be likened to a storage chest in the brain into which we deposit material and from which we can withdraw it later if needed. Occasionally something is lost from the chest, and then we say we have forgotten. Well, that's silly, okay? It's just dumb, and it's totally and utterly wrong and false. Memory works like this. Imagine memory is a safety deposit box. And so you drop $10 into your safety deposit box, and you go away and you come back in a week. And do you know what? Maybe just like we said, we've forgotten, maybe only $9 comes out of your safety deposit box next week. Right. Don't we wish it was that simple? It's possible we could go back to our safety deposit box next week and pull up $14.09 because our memory has been added to, changed. Or we could go and get our money back out of the safety deposit box, and it could be like in Indian rupees. What the hell? I put in 10 American dollars. How the hell did I... Because memory is weird, okay? It is not like this little statement here. Clearly, this is not how memory works. In a real classic study, this is really good. This is Elizabeth Loftus's work. She showed people a car crash, and everybody watched the same thing. It was a videotape. It was the exact same videotape. And afterwards, she asked half of them this question: how fast were the cars driving when they hit each other? And the other half, she asked, how fast were the cars driving when they smashed into each other? Now, they watched the same video. And it's like, if she asked the question hit, then all of a sudden the group was like, oh, I don't know, they're doing 32 miles an hour, something like that. And then if she said smashed, they said, oh, they were doing 47 miles an hour. I don't know, something like that. Now, this is amazing because all it took was hit versus smashed. Think about lawyers number one, okay? Because this is not that hard to change answers. Well, this is cool, but even more cool. They bring these kids back in a month, and then they ask them, did you see glass at the scene of the accident? And now those people that heard the word hit, they had constructed a memory in their brain of a 32 mile an hour accident. They're like, well, 32, that's basically a fender bender. And in their brain, they're much more likely to say, no, there wasn't glass. But those people that heard the word smashed and came up with, I don't know, it was 47, I think I said, 47 mile an hour, that's a pretty nasty accident. That is definitely not a fender bender. And so they're much, much more likely to say, yeah, you know what, there was glass there. Because the memory that they carried with them over this 1 month period was influenced by this word hit or smashed. And as soon as they said hit, they said 32, they said smash, they said 47, and it became the basis of the entire memory structure. So memory is not simple. Please don't think it is. Children are particularly difficult. Implanting a false memory in a child is so simple. I mean, hey, did you see the purple squirrel this morning? No. Are you sure you didn't see the purple squirrel? No. The purple squirrel, it was up on the lamp post, and when they were sitting at the train, when we were waiting for the train, he was up on the lamp. You don't remember the purple squirrel? No. Are you sure it was kind of waving at us? Oh, that purple squirrel. And pretty soon, that kid is going to start to devise all kinds of, that's right. And then he ran down, and he was laughing, and the kid will add details to it, and it's all of a sudden the real memory, and kids can't even tell the difference. Now, adults aren't quite so gullible, dare I say, but they're not terribly much better, okay? It's clearly something that we can do. Okay, constructing memories of ourselves. This is important. I think I told you in chapter 1 or something, 2, something, about this idea that we can refer to our present selves, our past selves, our future selves as different entities in many ways. Remember we had talked about self-control and something. My present self should only exhibit self-control if my present self trusts that my future self will also not smoke, right? Why should my present self suffer and not smoke if I don't trust that my future self is going to play along, okay? So we find that we can talk about this, and we find that our present self doesn't really have a great grasp on our past self, okay? That is to say, our memories of past events like vacations and things like that are really, I mean, we look back, I look back at, I had a vacation to Disney World, and I can tell you how painful that damn thing was, right? I mean, come on, kids and I want ice cream, I want that. Meanwhile, my wallet is just dripping blood, dripping, that's it, hemorrhaging cash, It was just so painful. But then when you got home and things settled down and you did the laundry and, put away your luggage, and you're like, you know what, the weather was nice. There wasn't that many people. We got to go on all of the rides and do all of the shows. And I forget all of the individual elements of the pain, and I just remember the good stuff. All right, cool. Reconstructing our past behaviors. Here, look at this. In surveys, people remember smoking a lot fewer cigarettes than are actually sold. So how many cigarettes did you smoke? I don't know, 15. Meanwhile, like 40 were sold. Okay, people recall voting. Did you vote in the last election? People go, yeah, I did. But it doesn't come close to matching what people actually did. Okay, so we just are not well in tune even with ourselves. So how can you trust me to be in tune with another person, right? All right, we make a lot of judgments intuitively, and this is troublesome. This is definitely going to tie into prejudice when we get up to prejudice. Prejudice is not a word. I just keep using it year after year. Prejudism is not a word. Your spell checker will tell you it's not a word, but I still use it. The word is prejudice. When we get to prejudice, we'll particularly talk about this. We talk about, all decision making is done on a dual track system. Control processing is sort of like rational, whereas automatic processing is much more, dare I say, emotional. Okay, automatic processing, things like implicit, and we need to do this because you're making thousands of judgments every day. I mean, you're walking in down the street, and whether you're aware of it or not, you have to make a judgment. You have to go, is this person that's coming in my direction, is this a dangerous person? As I already said, you put me into the interesting scenario where it's dark at night and it's kind of a spooky and then maybe I'm going to make that judgment and it's going to be a little more conscious. But the majority of the time, these types of decisions are just automatic. They just happen. They're intuitive. Okay? And they have to be, because you make thousands and thousands and thousands of judgments every single day. And if you stopped to make a rational judgment every single time, you just run out of energy. Okay? Blah, blah. We can know things without being aware. Yeah, they did a study where they used subliminal presentation. They subliminally would present like blood, and then they would put up a Chinese character, So it was like, but it's really fast in Chinese character, and then puppy Chinese character. So some Chinese characters were associated with like blood and stuff like this, and some were associated with like puppy. And so later on, they then showed people these Chinese characters, and people go, oh, I like that one. Why do you like it? I don't know. I just do. How about this one? Oh, that one's just nasty. There's something wrong with that. Who invented that character? It's like, why? What's so bad about it? I don't know. Look, the lines. I don't. And it's of course this implicit associations you don't even know about. So imagine if this can refer to Chinese characters. Imagine the implications for your interactions with other people. There's something about this person. In fact, I got to admit it. Now I just looked at we got an invitation to somebody's wedding. The first time, I mean, I knew the woman for years. First time I've ever seen her husband, and I'm looking at him. And I'm like, this is just not a good guy. Why? I don't know. Something about him. He's just not a good person. It feels that way to me. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but that's what implicit judgments are about. Okay? I'm going to have to pause and come right back to this. See you in 5 minutes. Or until you start, I guess. All right?